Hey, what's up, crypto media friends? I promised I was gonna do a New York video. I apologize, just been gone for quite some time to do this campaign and been working really hard. And It's just been a wonderful time here in New York. It's Fashion Week, and so it's just crazy the energy here in the city, just at the heart of everything that's going on. Um, a lot of energy and a lot of fun things, and certainly a solemn time too. I just didn't even realize until it was September 10th that the following day was gonna be a 20th anniversary, and to be here, to watch the Yankees Mets game on television, mind you. I didn't get into the game or anything, but just to be here and sort of experience New York during this time was very touching and surprisingly emotional for me. And I don't get emotional on this channel because we're talking about NFTs, right? But screw that, we're a different type of channel. So it was, yeah, I was blessed to be here at this time and share with New Yorkers their stories of what happened in September 11th because it affected us all. I'm emotional. That was a tough time. I remember that stuff. But NFTs, like I should be. This is. I hope we get like some credit with you guys. Just a little bit of credit. Remember this video. Instead of going out there for Fashion Week, going up to the rooftop party here, I am here talking to you guys about NFTs because I'd much rather, honestly. um, I want to talk to you today. I think there's some buy opportunities here and in SEVENS and maybe in ONIs. It's starting to feel like a better time in ONIs. ONI, it's like so many people call it different things, like 0n1Force, whatever. They're ONIs, if you were on the Discords early. The SEVENS, like, boy, guys, that was like one of those things I was just kind of monitoring on my phone. I was like, oh, wow, this is, it exploded like, we talked about. But man, the paper hands associated with that, it really showed and I think elucidated what has become of NFTs these days. We keep talking about the waves that keep happening and how to try and ride those. If you love the art, wait and find other opportunities. You can do the period before reveal, because right after reveal, people believe, or they want to believe, that they have the best, hottest thing, and so they're going to price it accordingly. But when it's not selling and they need liquidity, when it's not selling and it's not selling, they're just going to keep lowering the price. And if you look at the SEVENS, we'll get into it and talk about it. But man, that was an adventure. I spent probably 20 hours in that Discord, just really trying to get to understand, because I think they were doing such a smart thing with the Discord. It was a really well-run Discord, but you could tell there were just so many people there to try and get the opportunity to mint before, get whitelisted. So this means that you can mint before everybody else. This allows you to buy it for 0.07. Automatically, you're going to be able to at least list at a decent price, because the floor was, I think, probably 2 as soon as it released, because everyone's like, oh, this is the next hottest thing. This is the next 0n1Force. It wasn't. It really wasn't. I tried to elucidate that. I don't want to flood on anybody, but you could sort of see the art was awesome and solid. But I'll show you the comparison. It's a bit reductive. Not reductive, but it wasn't, I think, most of them. We're going to talk about, I think, the buy opportunity really in the SEVENS, because I think it's such an amazing story that maybe it might be nice if you did like the art to get in now, because the prices are quite much more affordable, and so maybe it is a buy opportunity. But let's look at what is the roadmap. What is the thing that's going to bring that value back? Let's get into some talk. Okay, so a lot of people have been asking me lately. Oh, okay, yeah. I like this stuff, but how do I make the money to buy the nice art? And I sort of joke, and that like, if you really love money, there's other channels that you can go to. They're probably talking about ones that I talk about. Like I drop a few here and there. Massive fan of Polkadot, and a lot of altcoins. They keep calling them altcoins, like everything except Bitcoin and Ethereum. But I really wanted to chat quickly about what we're seeing with quote unquote altcoins, because they're coming into their own. I mean, if you're looking at how they are being, let's just move this over here. There we go, so we can see the red and the green. So look at how usually Bitcoin would lead or fall the entire market, and we've all been waiting for that to change so that other projects could sort of deregulate themselves, decouple themselves from the Bitcoin sort of wave of extreme sort of FUD, but the control, if you will, for the Chinese government or something, of any government who just like, we're not, this is going to be illegal, and then like price goes down, and then the entire market used to go down. What we're seeing is a very Ethereum led the charge. It's are we going to see the flippening soon? I don't know. But when we do, we should just stop calling these altcoins, because some of these blue chips are having a life of their own, which is great because they're fantastic projects. There's so much more. I think per the SEC sort of vision of cryptocurrency, it's something that's scary to them, that interrupts trade and should be less of be under their purview in terms of trading, and I think that's fair, but like the classification of it, I think, sort of takes away from the fact, the actual of what it is. And these are projects that are adapting a technology to use within what's going to be daily life, and they're leveraging blockchain technology for the decentralization of control, and of I'm sorry, I don't want to get into like sort of a beginner's guide, because I know you guys are probably all super sophisticated. I will do a beginner's guide on some things, but including sort of this. And so the ones I talk about on the show, like Cosmos, I'm a fan of these, and I think more people are clearly, as of this past couple weeks, because of the power in which their vision for the future is of interoperability within chains. So you're not just stuck on one Ethereum chain. You're trying to L1, and then you're trying to build on top of the L1. You just have several layers of chains that are interoperable, and so then you get to have projects that can connect with each other. So like Filecoins is its own thing, but you can interoperably work it with other projects, and so to create your storage. And so that, for me, that's like a massive blue chip, but China's been fighting on it lately and driving the price down. But if you look at Kusama, if you look at Polkadot, these chains that are looking at how to be interoperable, I think you have a lot of the chains are like, a lot of the top chains are like, how do we be interoperable? Well, Atom is doing it. They're doing it now. And I mentioned Osmosis as a sort of an example, and I was teasing a little bit. I'm like, if you guys want to make some money, go and do a liquidity pool in Osmosis. If any of you listen, you might be doing quite well today. And I don't know how far this goes up in the future. This is not that type of show. I freaking hate charts, because charts they're BS. I think they're fun to look at to some degree, so you can understand historically where you stand in terms of the pricing. But this is representative of, this dip down here is representative of the entire Bitcoin crash. It's representative of things that aren't necessarily having to do with the project. And so these two right here are probably when Elio trades sort of talked about them, and they jumped or something, so they're not very representative of anything that has anything to do with the project, other than a historical view of when somebody hyped it up. or fudded on it, or just it followed a general market trend crash. But you do have certain ones that take hold of the imagination, and I think that Atom, that network allows for several chains to coexist and to work with each other. And what makes that super powerful is you have Osmo, which is their essentially their Uniswap, and it's really super. It's like old school Uniswap, man. It's like, I don't know if you guys were there for that, but Uniswap was so simple and easy. It still kind of is, but they made it all like jerky with like their now you can like stake and adjust your liquidity pool for just these opportunities, and the fine tuning for the day traders, like, yeah, sure, cool. Like, if you want to sit there and stare at charts all day, amazing. No fun if you do, but I think Osmo makes it simple again, and it's demonstrating the interoperability of these chains financially. So you're able just to swap out tokens. You're like, oh, I want this one now. Swap it out. I think it was crazy. I think they were like 25 cents, 30 cents per trade, guys. If you're watching the show, it's like $80 minimum right now on the Ethereum network, and it's wholly unusable on the Ethereum network right now. And so it needs to push into its next iteration. But that's the thing, is like chains like Polkadot, Cosmo. You guys know I'm not a great fan of Cardano because it's written in a completely different language that's nowhere near anybody who knows Solidity has no idea how to program for Cardano. So it's like, how big is your platform going to be when nobody can program for your platform? So it's a bit bizarre, but there's some great strengths about Cardano. Not going to FUD, but if you're looking at projects that have been doing insane, it's happening on the Atom network currently, because people are starting to see the genius of being able to be interoperable, which everyone's trying to push forward. And you have so many other great projects that are, oh yeah, we're gonna Polygon, we're gonna make all this interoperable. Well, you have it in Atom right now, and so when you have projects that are on Atom, like the Akash network, which I've plugged, but like I've mentioned before, I'm a huge fan of, because they offer a competitive version of AWS, which I met the head of it. I think he runs Amazon now. This dude I met at in Vegas at a NAB one year. Like, it was a very, very long time ago, and it was just like they were just coming out with this service called AWS. They were like, yeah, we got all these servers, and like they should do something. They should host video for the entertainment industry. And I'm like, yeah, dude, this is like genius. Like, you guys are gonna go far. So I gave him my opinion, and I think it's something. I literally forget the number, but it's so astounding that it's actually Amazon's biggest moneymaker. I think profitability by far at AWS, and I think that he was the one that stepped into Bezos' shoes. So anywho, long story short, Akash is competitive to that, and so at a significant reduction in price. It's something like 90%. Like, they kept playing with it. They're like, oh, we think it's going to be about an eighth, but in actual practice, it's kind of coming in somewhere between eighth, ninth, and 10th of the cost, a fraction of the cost that it takes. And as we mentioned before, a lot of you guys got your films taken off of Amazon because it's very expensive. It costs about $7 a day per video, roughly. This is the average, to hold it, just to hold it there. So if your thing is not being watched enough by enough Amazon, subscribers, or it's not doing any, who's doing any purchases? I personally purchase a lot of, my friends' films and stuff to support them, or something I really want to see, but I think that's rare and far in between relative to Amazon Prime. So you're watching the Prime service, and it's just pennies. It's just like a fraction of a subscription. Getting pennies into your account. If that's not $7 a day, that's not worth it for them to host it. So here comes Kosh, where they reduce that to a 90% off. That opens up a huge ability to host. So whoever wants to host a video streaming service, go ahead, like, subscribe, and hit me in the comments there, because I think that would be bomb diggity, because what the Atom Network does is allow you to create your own chain, and it's going to be interoperable with Akash without disturbing Akash. So if Akash had really heavy usage, you can still have your video streaming service that isn't going to be dependent on, say, let's say eBay decides to partner up with Akash to do their processing, and all the eBay stuff is not going to interfere with your video streaming service. And so it allows interoperability with its own independent chain. So having that is really powerful stuff, because then you get compute, then you get sort of the Filecoin type things of I'm sort of sorry, I'm just like kind of like going off on a lot, but I think that it's just such a grand scheme, because you have eventually you're going to have the Uber of everything in your computer. So you're going to be able to rent out your compute, your processor. You can leave it on at night and allow it to make you money. You can rent out. I don't know if you guys are practicing or experimenting with these, but these services are really interesting. Like Helium. I still am waiting for my. Are you guys still waiting for your Helium device? I'm still waiting for mine. I think I ordered mine, I think, in February, March-ish or something like that. I'm still waiting. But anyways, with that, you can rent your Wi-Fi. If you have unlimited broadband, stay on that contract. You can rent it out and create a network with your neighbors, who are, I think, is about 600 yards per they want, roughly. Is it like the optimal or something like this? But by creating a network, you're lending out and selling things normally that you have. So you have unlimited gray. You could sell your bandwidth if you're not using it to the network. You can sell your hard drive space. You can sell your computing processing power, and that it begins to then open up all the different brilliant businesses that are possible with blockchain, like like the Brave browser, and allowing Brave to leverage you watching content to pay you, instead of Facebook getting the money. You're getting paid. Like, subscribe, and hit. Give me the comments down there if you are on Brave, because I think that's dope. I don't hustle Brave, but it's kind of cool. Like when you're like I'm making money looking at these things here. And so if you're experimenting with that, go ahead and comment down below, because they're exciting, interesting experiments. And here's the pricing for Akash. Again, the pricing of this is only the beginning. So if you're staking Akash, you're already making 50% APR, and you're going to get profits. It's a really great tokenomics. That's why a lot of people are hardcore fans of it. That's why Elliot Trades is like really. I don't know if you check that dude's videos out, man, but he's really pumping Akash, because if you had bought Akash way back here, it's just like like March-ish or so. I felt like March, February. I felt like it's got it like I'm not gonna tell you the exact price, but it was very low, and then like it was kind of banging, obviously, and then the Bitcoin crash, but it's coming back in a big way, because it's now functional. These are one of the things that this space is very hard to grasp, is because a lot of this, that all these projects that I have here, and go ahead and check them out, are not functional. we're betting, we're speculating on the ideas that, oh yeah, 1 inch, that's going to be cool. It's going to be interoperable. Uniswap, that's kind of awesome. And so, has it achieved that? not since Uniswap has decided it wants more control over its it's no longer open source, and so they're going to take their intellectual property back out of the sandbox, and they're going to make money with it. And so when you have these different ideas of how to do businesses and working interoperably, right now Atom's the one that's doing it. And so I kind of joke like, hey guys, go to Osmosis and just like make a butt ton of money. But you can see when you pool your money, meaning you're going to buy, so right here you see pool number one is Atom and Osmo. So Osmo is like, the actual, I keep saying Uniswap, but I really want to try and reduce it even further. It's a trading platform, and so it's the token of the trading platform. And so then you have Atom, which is kind of the Ethereum, which should move between all, and so you can put your money into these in equal sums. So let's go ahead and look at one. So we look at pool number 3 here, liquidity mining. So you put it in for like 7 days, let's say, and you'll make 200% APR. I know these sound like scams, but when you're this early in the game, there's only like $40 million here. Can you imagine how it was like in early days Uniswap? They were just raining down free Uniswap tokens, that are now worth, tens of thousands of dollars. Those were the good old days. These are kind of those days for this project. You're looking at crazy high APRs because they're trying to bring money into these liquidity pools so that it can be super functional. And for me, man, I tell you it is, because they're so cheap to transact between. And so, if you wanted to stake, you go to Coinbase, get some Atom, then you bring the Atom into a Kepler wallet. And so, yeah, so you got to get this Kepler wallet. It's like MetaMask. Search other videos. There's better videos of how to set up your wallets, but this one you need a Kepler wallet. And so when you do, you're going to take your $1,000 of, or even $5. This is what's great about this. You don't need the 1,000. Anytime we're talking about Ethereum, sort of the rule of thumb is like you got to have like $1,000, probably 2,000 if you're gonna liquidity pool, because you need $1,000 of Ethereum, you need $1,000 of the other thing that you like, that you want to sit together in this liquidity pool to go back and forth, and you get the trading fees. Here, the trading fees are so low, but yet active enough that you could potentially put a couple $100 and not have to pay these huge high fees. And so, I sort of joke about it, but now this is why I want to show you. I was like, maybe it's time to get serious. You can put a couple $100 in here, and in a year you can get an ONI. So it's like I'm in Akash and Osmo, and I'm in Akash Atom, because I think all three of those products are great. Projects are great, and so I put in an equal amount, and so the Atom one is 50-50. I put in let's just say $500 Akash, $500 of Akash tokens, and I put in $500 worth of Osmo equally. And there's going to be a lot of things, and you can read more about it on the internet, of slippage and sort of impermanent loss. But eventually, it all kind of averages out, because the money is going to go back and forth between the trading, depending on what's going high and what's going low. And everything except Bondly has worked out for me on the Uniswap side. Like, subscribe, and put a sad, crying face if you were in Bondly. Bondly was brutal. Here's one I thought was very interesting. I got in very early on this. So you can put in 66%. It was a 3-2 almost, which was kind of cool. Or just like a 60%, 30%, 66%, 34%. But just sort of instead of going half and half, going into a token that I didn't quite love. Like, I was just like, Atom's good. It's it's going to have such great utility. I didn't feel bad doing it. But Osmo is sort of a gamble. So I had to put in like say $500 of Akash, and then I had to put in an equal $500 of Osmo that I had to swap for. kind of didn't love that because I'm just like, I don't like taking anything out of my cash because I believe so strongly in this project. But I had to swap it out for me. I swapped instead of buying more. I just swapped it out just to make it even, so I had a 50-50. Here, I can keep 66% cash and only 34 Atom, and Atom has so much utility. I was just like, okay, cool. It was a really nice pool that I hadn't seen before. I haven't seen that ratio before in a pool, and it made it very easy to jump into. So this is the first one that I did, and it's stupid. 216%. Wait, it's just like these. But I tell you, these are nearly half of what they were when you first started. As more people get in, you're not going to continually make 400% APR. That'd be just mental. It's just as the pool grows, it'll go down. But while it's going, it's quite nice to kind of come back to those accounts and see that compounded with the pricing that I just showed you. So you're doing, Osmo did like what, 6x. So if you bought Osmo when I told you guys, half that was like half joking, but I'm just like, really, it's a great opportunity. You already made 6x plus, probably if you got in 300% APR up to that point. So maybe that this month we'll say that's enough for an owning. Okay. So just in a joking way of like how to get in on these projects. I think somebody I've been getting a couple questions about like how do I just do the money part. There's a lot better channels on how to do it. I feel like this is a very accessible one that I like, especially for beginners who just want to do a few $100s, who don't want the pressure of having Ethereum's fees of like, you get in there and it's heartbreaking because you're like, okay, yeah, I think, you know what, you're right, Luxo, that's going to do well. And it did. If you went into Luxo, you guys are probably up 60-70% from when I mentioned it. And it hasn't even started yet, Luxo. Luxo is going to be an interesting one. So when you look at these projects and you get the idea of like, oh, hey, Luxo's great, and then you want to pool it with Ethereum, you have to do like $1,000 each. It's like it feels like a Vegas minimum where you're like going into the the high roller room. Just the pressure of it. It's just like, oh, to sit down and play, I got to pay $80, and then I got to buy this $80 drink from this nice server, and I'm in the big room. I got to tip her. I got to tip her well. And so you feel this pressure to spend, and all your money goes. You're down 15-20% when you're playing with Ethereum immediately just by playing with Ethereum. That sucks. It's like it's soul sucking, especially when you're just starting out. And so that's why I recommend Atom, guys. So check it out. There's way better videos than this about it. I just want to introduce you guys to it because I think it's dope, and I know it can do well for some people. And it has, if you got in, when I mentioned it, good for you, because I think more and more people are starting to see the genius of this this way of interoperability, because you can do all of these, more and more projects now are jumping in here and providing, services that you can stack, you can provide, you can make your own computer on the blockchain, potentially very little interface. So the processing power, the hardware, everything can be on blockchain. The device of which that interacts just needs the Wi-Fi. It's and with speeds coming, it's astounding. What can be accomplished doing this, and with Atom, they can all work together because they're interoperable. So you can have the compute, you can have the the memory, you can the storage, and they're all services you can stack together. That's really powerful. So and maybe interesting to join in and try. And so you would go to, as I said, Coinbase, and then you go put that into a Kepler wallet, transfer your Atom coins into a Kepler wallet, and then you get this Atom and you bring it to Osmosis, the app.osmosis. Is it like app.osmosis.io, I think? And then it brings you to this, and then you can kind of swap out whichever one you like. Not bad to stick with Atom, honestly, or to like to pool with Atom. It's doing quite well. But you can place a bet on something that's a bit more speculative, like Akash or like a lot of these other ones. There's more coming every day, and so you're like, okay, great, I've made some decent money. What do I do? I was kind of thinking, guys, is it time for an ONI? Is it time for a sorry, I'm gonna have to bring this up because I'm in New York and I don't have. Ooh, this is gonna be a little tough. Sorry, guys. It's gonna be a little challenging. Let me try and see if I can make it happen. But I think in looking at what's going on with the sevens and how badly it got hammered, it's looking like a buy opportunity, isn't it? And so if you dig the art, now there are certain ones in there. I just don't think it came out as well as everyone thought as well. I don't know. I did a comparison, but my computer, I'm on my little tiny laptop, so please like, subscribe, and I should get a Patreon or something, because man, my laptop is falling apart, and I need some help. If I don't have any subscribers, and I can't afford a laptop, because my laptop is choking right now and is not able to show the comparison. It's just trying to show of the ONIs, and the arts is just so much. I don't want to say it's crisper. It looks original. It has a lot of elements to it that make it close to fine art in this very cool way. So I feel like if it's going to go down a little more, I'd say just let it sit, let it ride, because I know it's tough. I think the ... dots are kind of doing the same thing, of which like they're kind of getting lower and lower, and you start worrying like, oh, well, where's the thing? Well, if you look at the sevens, that's kind of, I don't know if it gets any more bottomed out than 0.3, 0.3, unless it has to be quite like the community. You'd have to go in the Discord, and the community would kind of have had to have given up and totally moved on. If you get that sense and you don't dig the community and you just want to collect the art, wait, that means it'll just go down. But if you still see like vibrancy and them looking to do burns and looking to bring value and utility to the project, look for those dips. Look for those dips to buy. I think dots are purely an aesthetic thing. I don't see what they would be going for. I just think they look cool. But I think that the sevens, they have a plan for utility. I don't know how viable it is. I felt like they wanted to do something that was a bit more urbanware, which I thought was a cool idea. I don't know if they have the team to execute that. I haven't seen anything that would suggest that. But as a creator, hey, you should do that. You guys should be out there making stuff like this. It's not super hard to do. Clearly, if you're looking at the actual basics of creating NFTs, and certainly the series now these days are almost there's bound to be just somebody who's gonna be like, oh, make your own PFP collection here, and like on this website, probably with some sort of website. I can't think of the trashy one. What's the one that's always on TV? It's like, look, I made a website. Check it out. Now I can have a business I run. I look professional. And you can with these tools. And so, as as a creator, like, look at these opportunities, look at where they're going, look where they fell apart. Oni's had a really just great, or sorry, Oni's too, but like the Sevens had this really, really great launch. It's incredible what they did. I think they owe a lot to the Onis because that's the pricing of which everyone was just like, oh yeah, this is going to be the next one. I want to be on the next train. And you saw that in the Discords, and it was a bit, I feel a bit bad for them, honestly, because, I was in those Discords and I saw a lot of people get disappointed. They whitelisted a very small fraction of the people that were in there. They, what was it, 35,000, 40,000 people in their Discords. They whitelisted, I don't know, a few hundred, by like certainly much less than most. And I think that was a missed opportunity because they didn't allow the people who were fundamentally, part of the community. I don't know, it's a tough call. As I'm thinking about it out loud, like there were just a lot of people there to just collect and sell. A lot of people were there to, it's kind of almost like day trading in a sense. Like there were just people grinding. They were like making emojis and they were like pumping up, or making GIFs and like, really pumping up the idea. Oh yeah, sevens are going to be so amazing, and you just see them cheerlead the hell out of this thing, and really get in good with the mods, and the mods were like, oh yeah, this person is going to stick around, but it was a hustle, it really was, and tip of the hat to those who got in on the sevens hustle. Apparently, you guys sold at the top and did really well. Sold at 2-3 ETH. And did fantastic, but a lot of the poor community that really dug the art and really was there for the community are probably scratching their head as to like, what did they just get into? To be fair, if they bought at 0.07, they're probably still okay. But what is to become of the community? I don't know. Maybe you want to give it a gamble, and now's maybe a good time. Again, talking about past few videos are just like some of the opportunities that appear once the crowds have moved on. And for me, it's all about the art, and that's why I'm still kind of eyeing the Onis, because I dig the art. I think it's just it was almost landmark. I don't want to say it's like, oh gosh, it's going to be like CryptoPunks or anything like that, or even Bored Ape. It's not, but it definitely is its own thing, and I think it's very landmark. And just as stupid as it sounds, that its profile. But it also has a modernness to the art that I haven't seen in a lot of the art, which is made up of people being able to see themselves that are outside of the norm, and I think that's super rad. Much like World of Women, is representative. I think Onis are representative in a much more modern way, and in a way that's I don't know, just a bit more. I don't know. We're from all over the world here, and welcome. But I feel like something artistically landmark has these traits of modernism, has these traits of the world that we live in today that make them expressive, and that's what Oni says to me. That's why I wanted to collect them early on, and I think you saw me lose out on the mint like badly. If you were watching the video for that was bad. That was as bad as Vogu. I got killed in Vogu, but I was able to come back into Vogu, and I'm glad I'm part of that community. There's a lot of really smart people there. They're doing amazing drops, and like I said, oh, hey, there he is, Minty Fresh. There's my Vogu, and it's it's a great community because, as I said, you get to talk a lot about other projects, and I brought a lot of people over there to Sevens to kind of check it out, because I was just like, what is going on with this server? There's so many people here that it was really astounding, and you could see the hype. And so like and subscribe, and put in the comments if you got in on Sevens, and sorry, how did you feel? Do you feel let down in some regard by the way that they whitelisted, and a lot of paper hands somehow got their hands on it and just dumped that, and it sucks because it's a dump on that community. It's a community that you're thinking, and I was like, wow, cool. Like my $210, maybe $250 plus gas fees. Sorry, plus gas fees of $80, right? Like the whole percentage of it, insane, is now worth 2 ETH. $7,000. Wow, that's nice. And say I got two of them, that's $14,000 on the floor. What if you got a rare? Um, there's a feeling of pride to that of like yeah, wow, I really got that one right. And then when you see over 1 week it dump down to basically what you, I mean, point three, it's not bad. It's not like, it's $900. Let's be fair. But you start losing faith in the community, and like, what the hell you're doing in that space, and why an idiot like this would spend like 20 hours in that Discord. To some degree, I wanted to see like what it took to get whitelisted, and tried my shot. I didn't succeed, but it was just like, it was an interesting experiment to see how they were building community, ways in which you can do it, the flexibility that the mods had as they were trying to outsource channels to get other different group chats, when they were seeing like, okay, we got some French people here, we can do just a straight up French channel. And so they were, and within those you had community, which I thought was super cool. I was working with Singapore at the time, and so in LA it's sort of late at night, and then so I would just log on, and then Singapore was waking up, so I felt like I was part of the Singaporean day. I was like, oh, cool. I would just chat with them, and they're just getting up and sort of chatting with my clients at the same time. So it was like, I don't know, it was fun and interesting and engaging, because I could talk to people in that part of the world about what was going on with their day. And so yeah, there's a lot of great aspects of community, and that's why I'm here. And sorry if I started with that very sort of stock markety, like charty. There's other channels for that stuff. That's not this, but I definitely wanted to show you guys a little bit about what I talk about, of having opportunities right now to get in on the ground floor of certain projects that will appreciate. And it's not easy trying to chase these NFTs that are that blow up and people ape into with a lot. They got a lot of extra funds, that you might not have, or I might not have, or we might not have. And so making our way incrementally. This is how I did it, incrementally. I didn't wake up like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go buy a Vogu on the secondary market. Like, I had to earn that ETH. I got in early on ETH, and I got in as a miner, mining Bitcoin, and I got in early on a lot of these projects because I'm interested in the space, and it's accumulated to some degree. It's not a ton, but it's just like, it's enough for me to get introduced to this community of NFTs. And I'm not at that Elio. I love Elio Trades is hilarious to me. Him and Alex Becker, right? Like, come on, we're both watching them, and they're so interesting and iconic. But when they're talking about stuff, it's just at such a massive, like, macro level. Like, the way that they're talking about gaming now, I think is cool. It's also just like almost like a different world. There's yeah. Bought a Fidenza. You guys want to check out my Fidenza, and like again, no FUD. But man, like we're talking 30, 50 ETH minimum now Fidenzas, and that's $150,000. And so it was just like hey, I picked one up off of my friend's recommendation. Past the grave friggin' poupon, my friend, because I think it's cool to talk about and interesting, but it certainly leaves something to be desired of like what actionably we should be doing. But maybe it is, maybe it's inspirational. It certainly is for me. That's why I try and find things that are a bit more accessible to some degree. I may definitely talk about more some fine art projects that are super expensive, but it's more in the service of understanding how to approach things from a creative standpoint as a creator, so that when you're thinking about making your projects, how to articulate them, what market you want to articulate them for, how you want them delivered, these sort of ideas, because you're going to need to find partners, and hopefully you guys can find them in the comments section here, or one of these days we'll all get together at I was trying to stay. I was hoping to stay in New York. They're doing an NFT New York a con. So I'm going to see you guys at a con, and we'll all get together and make projects together. Until then, I gotta get to sleep because I'm on East Coast time and I still got a lot of work to do. And I thank you guys for geeking out with me during New York Fashion Week about NFTs. All right, guys.